So, all right. So it's 9:06. It's 9:06 a.m. in California. So we are 6 minutes late. So who's going to start? Let's do it.
Shahila.
Shahila.
Okay. Every day is a fresh beginning. Every month is the world made new. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Warm welcome to the Athena International Toastmasters Club. I am Shahila Khan, your Sergeant at Arms for this club. The mission of the Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Before we proceed, there are a couple of things to be reminded. Please turn off your cell phones or set them on silence mode. Please avoid using any taboo subjects such as religion, sex, and politics. Please mute your audio when you're not speaking. So, to open today's meeting, we have our presiding officer, Toastmaster Queen. Let us give her a big virtual round of applause. The virtual screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shahila. On behalf of the TMOD, I'm proud to welcome you all to our club meeting number 52 with the theme A New Beginning by our Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Gilda. And now I announce the meeting open.
Thank you, Presiding Officer, Toastmaster Queen, and welcome all of you to our number 52 meetings at Athena International Club, online and for women only. On behalf of the members of all the clubs, I would like to welcome a guest that is from Malaysia, and that is Toastmaster or Distinguished Toastmaster Eliza Rocher. Distinguished Toastmaster Eliza, can you unmute and introduce yourself, please?
Oh, sorry. Thank you very much. A very good morning here now. And also a very good evening to everyone there in Qatar. My name is Eliza. I am from World Travelers Toastmaster Club, also a few clubs in District 33 and 53. Looking forward to learn from all of you. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You may mute your audio now. Dear Athenian, a Greek philosopher by the name Heraclitus famously said, "The only constant in our life is change." How true that is when I thought about it. I remembered my first day going to elementary school, carrying a small lunch bag box. And that bag got bigger as I put not only my lunch in it, textbook in it. And then it got bigger when I went to university and put my laptop in it. And every era of my life, this bag was getting heavier and I was facing more challenges. But I went through it. Why? Because life without challenges is not accountable. And that takes me to the changes in our areas, in our life, the new eras of our lives. Every change we have, it's a mark of a new beginning of new life for the rest of it till we start a new beginning. We could talk and we will proceed and talk about this theme, but let me first introduce a 3 Toastmaster who will help me as a Toastmaster and the general evaluator to conduct the meeting accordingly. But before that, I did remember I would like to share with you the agenda of a typical Toastmaster meeting. A Toastmaster meeting is divided into 3 sessions. The first session is prepared speeches. And as the agenda says, we have 2 speakers, but we end up by having 1 speaker. So we could edit this thing. The other session is the table topic session, and that's the most fun, maybe, or scariest thing in any meeting. The final session is the general evaluation, and that's when everybody, including the whole meeting, will get evaluated or given feedback. And now let me go back to the 3 pillars of this meeting, and that is the first one will be the timer, and our timer is none other than our VP Education Toastmaster Queen. Toastmaster Queen, can you please explain the role?
Sorry, Toastmaster Gilda, we have agreed that it's going to be DTM Eliza Rocher from Malaysia.
Oh, sorry, that's very true. Toastmaster Eliza, would you like to explain your role to us?
Yes, thank you very much, Toastmaster Gilda. So today I will be your timer. I will time your speech for prepared speech is going to be 5 to 7 minutes. So for 5 minutes, I will put green, and 6 minutes yellow, 7 minutes red. And after that, I will just put times up. And for table topics, which is 1 to 2 minutes, 1 minute will be green, 1.5 yellow, and 2 minutes red. For the evaluation, 2 to 3 minutes, I will put green for 2 minutes, 2.5 yellow, and 3 minutes red. So don't forget to pin me, but don't hurt me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Eliza. In the agenda, it says Toastmaster Grace is 7 to 13 minutes. Toastmaster Grace, can you let us know when do you want Toastmaster Eliza to put the green on the back screen, and when do you want the yellow and the red? You're muted, Toastmaster Grace.
Okay, it's 2 to 3 minutes to explain about my project, and then it's only 5 to 10 minutes, but it's basically just 7 minutes for my speech for my podcast. But yeah, you can follow the from 5 to 10.
Okay, so the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you. And now our counter. Our counter is a lawyer by profession. And she said, regarding the theme, she draws a quote by Anne Sullivan. Keeps on beginning and failing. Each time you fail, start all over again. And you will grow stronger until you accomplish your purpose. Not the one you started with, but the one you'll be glad to remember. Our counter, Toastmaster Carriero. Toastmaster Carriero, explain your role to all of us.
Thank you very much, and good evening to all our Toastmasters and our guests. My duty as your counter today, hopefully, will be to help you reinvent the way that you look at your listening skills. And I will do so by taking note of the following uses by the speakers. Crutch words such as are, filler words such as but, so, like, well, and filler phrases such as you know, and so, etc. When I'm called upon, I will gladly give my report of these speaking errors. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Carriero, for your explanation. And the third pillar is our grammarian. And let's see if our grammarian are gonna reinvent the wheel for us. Our grammarian, none other than Toastmaster Amina. Toastmaster Amina, the stage is all yours to introduce the word of the day and display your role.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, so to say. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take notes of any misuses of the English language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. And it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. Our word of the day today is reinvent, which means to change or transform something completely, typically by introducing new ideas, methods, or approaches. A sample use of the word reinvent is in our journey towards personal growth. We often need to reinvent ourselves by stepping out of our comfort zones and embracing new challenges. So that's it from my side. I will give my report at the end of the session when asked. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amina, for this explanation. And the word of the day: changes and new beginning are very scary, because new beginning requests us to step out of our comfort zone. And stepping out of comfort zone is not pleasant. It takes new challenges, new experience, and people are scared of it. People are scared of new beginning and new challenges for two reasons: people's judgment and their own reaction, emotional reaction. People who have never stepped out of their zone don't know how, they have not experienced or controlled their emotion under different circumstances. When you get very happy, when you get very sad, when you hear something unpleasant, or you hear bad judgment from people. Imagine yourself, a very young person, learning how to swim, and your instructor comes and tells you, you are not doing a good job. You're not swimming well. For a 5 years old, this could be the borderline and stopping from achieving and proceeding. And these are one of the many judgments that we as a human being are scared. We don't want to hear. And our emotion or our reaction, how we gonna react when something like this happened to us. But not in Toastmasters. In Toastmasters, we learn to step out of our zone because we have nothing but feedback and empowering one another, supporting and motivating and inspiring through our feedback. So we do that. We accept any feedback. So we are not scared of that. And because we as Toastmaster, we have stood and gone through speaking from the first day where we couldn't put two words together until we stand in front of many people and deliver speeches. We know what it takes to step up the ladder. So, as Toastmasters, we're not scared from approaching new eras, new beginning every day. And we do that through standing and speaking and taking leadership roles. Speaking of leadership, we have a true leader today, our only speaker of this meeting, our past president, distinguished Toastmaster, Grace Moran. When talking about true leaders and challenges, Toastmaster Grace Moran, knowing her for the past 3 years, I know she has moved from one country to the other, faced many challenges, but never stopped her leadership and supporting every member at Athena and other members as Toastmasters. Today, I'm privileged to evaluate her speech, and as her evaluator, I will read the purpose of her speech. The purpose, well, Toastmaster Grace, she's doing dynamic leadership pathway. Level 4, elective. The elective project is create a podcast. The purpose of this project is to introduce the speaker to the skills needed to organize and present a podcast. Toastmaster Grace with the title Weeds. Weeds, Toastmaster Grace. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. But first, before I'll start my 5 to 10 minutes podcast, I just want to explain a bit more about this project. This project is a podcast, an audio podcast. So I just want to remind my evaluator that this is, you won't be seeing any video or anything, but just an audio, since it is an audio podcast. So I will be telling you about the traveling podcast in this. So I hope you'll enjoy it. So here it is. Welcome, wanderers, to another exciting episode of Roaming the Globe, podcast that takes you on thrilling journeys around the world. I'm your host, Grace Moran, and today we have a delightful adventure awaiting us. So grab your travel journals, pack your bags, and let's embark on a 10-minute journey to an enchanting destination. Our destination today is the breathtaking island of Bali, Indonesia, nestled in the heart of Southeast Asia. Bali is renowned for its stunning landscape, rich culture, and warm hospitality. So let's dive into the beauty of this tropical paradise. As we step off the plane, the first thing that strikes us is the unmistakable scent of frangipani, flowers that permeates the air. Bali's lush greenery and vibrant colors immediately transport us into a world of wonder and tranquility. Our first stop is Ubud, the cultural heart of Bali. This artistic town is known for its traditional arts and crafts, picturesque landscape, and spiritual atmosphere. Wandering through Ubud's vibrant markets, we were captivated by the intricate wood carvings, colorful batik fabrics, and ornate silver jewelry created by local artisans. We continue our journey to the breathtaking rice terraces of Tigalalan. As we stroll along the narrow paths that wind through the emerald green fields, we were greeted by friendly smiles from the hard-working farmers. The rhythmic sounds of the traditional songs fill the air, creating a harmonious symphony that resonates with the soul. Our next stop was at the sacred monkey forest, and we booked one of the many all-day private tours. As part of the tour, we stopped at the sacred monkey forest. It is the sanctuary and natural habitat of the Balinese long-tailed monkeys. It is located in Padang Tigal, Ubud, Bali. About 1,260 monkeys live in the sanctuary. The monkey forest lies within the village of Padang Tigal, which owns it. The village residents view the monkey forest as an important spiritual, economic, educational, and conservation center for the village. The main thing that attracts tourists to come is to interact with the monkeys. And I have noticed the
interesting phenomenon of numerous obese monkeys, a testament to the utmost unbounded food supply the huge number of tourists entering the forest provide. The monkey forest wood has 186 species of plants and trees in 12.5 hectares of forest. And I really enjoyed just walking the heavily forested trails along the ravine and rocky stream which runs through the park grounds. Our next step of our tour was Tikanulan Waterfalls. It was amazing, though there were too many people. We took quite a few photos of the waterfall in the background, surrounded by a lot of greenery and rocks before leaving. It was quite surreal. I could almost feel the cooling water on my skin. The waterfall may be categorized as a small one, but its gushing water is undoubtedly very strong. The water that plunges into the pool below is not very clear. However, it does provide a cool respite against the hot weather around the air. There was also a restaurant nearby and open air design near the falls, and a large swing for Insta-worthy photos, which unfortunately I have to miss due to my fear of heights. Nonetheless, our tour adventure takes us an adrenaline-fueled turn as we head to the southern coast of Bali. Here, the surf beckons us with its crushing waves and vibrant energy. With surfboard in hand, we paddled out, riding the swells and feeling the acceleration of being one with the ocean. Bali's world-class surf breaks, such as Uluwatu and Padang-Padang, offer unforgettable experiences for both beginners and seasoned surfers alike. No visit to Bali would be complete without immersing ourselves in its spiritual traditions. We find ourselves in the serene town of Pura Besaki, known as the Mother Temple. This majestic complex, nestled on the slopes of Mount Agung, is a sacred site for the Balinese people. We join devotees in prayer, experiencing the deep sense of spirituality that permeates the temple's sacred grounds. As the sun begins to set, we make our way to the coastline of Jimbaran Bay, known for its picturesque beaches and breathtaking sunsets. With the sand between our toes and a fresh seafood face before us, we witness the sky ablaze with hues of orange and pink, creating a truly magical moment. But before we bid farewell to this enchanting island, we take a moment to indulge in the world-famous Balinese spa treatments. The gentle touch of skilled therapists, the soothing aromas of essential oils, and the serene surroundings transport us to a state of pure bliss and relaxation. Sadly, our time in Bali must come to an end, but the memories we created would last a lifetime. Whether it's the stunning landscapes, the rich cultural heritage, or the warm hospitality of its people, Bali has left an indelible mark on our hearts. And that concludes our 10-minute journey to the mesmerizing island of Bali. We hope you've enjoyed this taste of its beauty and are inspired to embark on your own adventure. Join us next time as we uncover another captivating destination on Roaming to Go. Until then, remember to keep exploring, embrace new experiences, and always follow the call of wanderlust. Safe travels, my fellow adventurers.
Back to you, Toastmaster of today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Grace, for this podcast that took me back to the 4 years I lived in Indonesia and traveled around that country. Everything you said, I had an image connected to it. Thank you so much. Very beneficial. And now, let me go to my speech. Alan Cohen said, "Do not wait until the conditions are perfect to begin. Beginning makes the condition perfect." And how true. If we don't start something, if we don't make a resolution and with changes, included in this resolution and we step out of our zone and we do what we want, how do we know? How do we create something that a new beginning? With that, let me go to the next session. And our next session is the very exciting session led by very exciting leader. I'm going to tell a story about this leader and how much this leader means to me and helped me during my Toastmaster journey. A few years back, we had an ExCom meeting when she was the president of Athena International Toastmaster Club. And we had 3 different opinions about an issue. Each team said what they think we should do or they should do. And as a leader, she listened to all 3 suggestions. And at the end, she was able to pick a line or an idea from the first team with another idea from the second team and a third idea from the third team, and joined that and came up with the conclusion to help everybody and makes every team player feel as a winner. And that's the kind of leadership Toastmaster produce, or the way our leader is the founder of Athena Toastmasters Club, 4 times distinguished Toastmasters, my first mentor in Toastmaster, DTM Vicky Ferrer. The stage is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. When you asked me how to introduce myself, I said, Gilda, Toastmaster Gilda, you know how to introduce myself. So thank you. And I'm really privileged to be the table topic master. And thank you, DTM Eliza, for gracing our meeting at midnight. It's already 12:30 midnight, past your Cinderella curfew, but you're still here and doing our timer role. Table topics is something, for me, was something that I used to hide from. When I was new in Toastmasters, I would really go at the very end of the room so that nobody could be able to notice me. And what happened was the table topic master was always clever. You know what she would do? She'd look at the very end and look at that person who's almost she's almost going out of the room to make an excuse that she's going to the restroom. And she says, Vicky, answer the first table topic question. And I was caught. And at that time, I really wasn't aware of how to address a table topic question. And from that time on, I said, I'm not going to make a fool of myself. I'm going to really make sure to be very serious with Toastmasters program. And I am able to answer the questions. So tonight, all of you will be asked some questions. Remember that there is no right or wrong answer. And if you don't feel like answering the question, you can always deflect from it and go to another topic which you are more comfortable with. It's always a mini speech with an opening, body, and conclusion. You're going to be given by the timer of 1 to 2 minutes timing with a 30-second grace period. So you're allowed until 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Remember that this opinion is your opinion. Nobody will judge you. Well, as far as myself and as far as what we expect from fellow Toastmasters, we don't judge each other in terms of responding to the table topics. My questions are somehow related to the new beginning that our dear Toastmaster of the day had introduced. And I'm going to share the screen with you right now. I hope everybody can see it. Yes, All right. So this is the first picture. Who can guess what the question is? Can somebody? DTM Grace, you are somebody who can read minds. I live with DTM Grace. She's such a darling for 2 weeks in Qatar. And she was the best hostess. I can never forget that. So DTM Grace, what do you think could be the question of this visual?
What's the question?
Yes.
DTM Vicky?
Yeah, you're gonna guess.
Oh, is it am I like supposed to answer? Is this like the
No, you're not gonna answer. You're just gonna guess what, based on this photo, what is the question?
Positive thinking.
Yes.
Think positively.
Mm-hmm. So
Or do you think positively?
Okay, very good, Toastmaster Grace. Is positive thinking a good or a bad thing? Is positive thinking a good or a bad thing? Now, let me see who's gazing at the stars or the moon and not really connected with the meeting. I think everybody's connected. So, Toastmaster Lucy, whom I cannot see. Toastmaster Lucy, would you like to answer that question? Is positive thinking a good or a bad thing? Over to you, Toastmaster Lucy.
Thank you, Toastmasters, Table Topic Masters, Vicky. I really appreciate it. I apologize. I need to stay off camera, but I'm happy to take the question and answer. And I absolutely believe that positive thinking is a positive thing. It's a good thing. There's just no way that it could not be something good. I personally make myself mostly every day, like almost every day, I have to get my mindset on the positive thinking. And it's just so easy to deviate from that nowadays. I feel like the lifestyle that we currently have, most people is taking us to face situations that will leave us with some bad flavor or something negative in our life. And I constantly have to be reminding myself, and my dear husband is constantly reminding me to stay on the positive, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it to focus on the negative. It's not worth it to focus on the bad things that happened, when there is so many good things in life. We have so many blessings to focus on, and that will bring us happiness. To be wasting our time and our energy thinking negatively or focusing on the negative of life, of whatever life throws our way. So yes, I agree, and I definitely live by believing that positive thinking is a good thing. Thank you. Back to you, Table Topic Master Vicky.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lucy. Indeed, and I can see you as a role model for positive thinking. In spite of the many challenges that we are all facing, we always have to look at the positive side of things. And now let me continue with our table topic question. All right. So who could guess? Who could guess the question to this? I want to let you think creatively more than answering to the question. Toastmaster Gilda, she is so intently thinking of the question. Why don't you take a guess of the question for this visual?
Sure. I'll take the question.
Mm-hmm.
Being alone. Okay, just give me a second. No, that's not a question. That's a
question. I know we are being alone.
That's a statement. That's a statement.
Yes.
The question is, how do you feel being alone?
Ooh, wow, Toastmaster Gilda. You've almost guessed it like DTM Grace. What is one loss you took in your life that eventually turned out to be a win? What
There you
is
go.
one loss you took in your life that eventually turned out to be a win? Now,
I
let
can
me
answer
have.
that.
You want
Easy.
to answer that, or
Oh,
should we
somebody
give the
else gonna.
others
No,
a
you go ahead.
chance?
You go ahead.
Yes.
You go
Who
ahead.
wants to
Sorry.
raise their hand, or I will make them raise their hand? Adeline, GE Adeline, you're giving me a big, big smile. That means you're ready. All right. By the way, she's our table topic champion. So let's give her a chance. Our table topic champion, none other than Toastmaster Adeline.
Thank you so much, TTM Vicky. The biggest loss that I had was joining Toastmasters. Yeah, I know. It's shocking, right? I lost all my time in Toastmasters. I come every week, spend 2 hours here, laughing, giggling, sweating in table topics, dying in front of the speech out of public speaking. And turns out I won in controlling my fear of public speaking, able to communicate confidently with others, able to network with lots of powerful women around the world. And that's how sometimes I see the world. Sometimes I feel like, why am I in this place? It's just a loss for me. Why am I doing this? It's only a bad thing. It's not going to give me anything rather than fear. And that's what I thought of Toastmasters when I joined the club. I thought it was going to drown me in fear. But in our lives, we always have that fear or the negative things that come upon us. But if we swim above that fear, above those negative thoughts, there's always bound to be a positive light at the end of the tunnel. And that's how I found that Toastmaster is a helping journey that everyone should be in. And that's also the reason I'm not quitting. If I were to quit, then it's going to be another loss for me, which I will never win. So this loss is my win. Back to you, DTM Vicky.
Thank you so much. I knew you would give the response in an excellent manner. Thank you for that. And let's now move on to our next table topic question, of which you first have to guess. What type of question will Vicky ask? Of course, this is kind of obvious. Never judge a book by its cover. Now, let me ask our Toastmaster Hannah. Toastmaster Hannah, what do you think is the question for never judge a book by its cover?
Sorry, the question?
Can you guess from the photo what kind of question will I be asking?
Something along the lines of, what is your first impression about a certain person on how they look? Something along the lines of that kind of question.
Very interesting, Toastmaster Hannah. You almost did it. What's your take on the never judge a book by its cover saying? Why don't you answer it as well, Toastmaster
okay.
Hannah? Go ahead.
Thank you. What's my take on the never judge a book by its cover saying? I actually really like this saying, and it's something that I've always kept in mind for all of my life, like growing up. Perhaps because I'm not the most fashionable person myself, and so I think I get a lot of first impressions that may not look good for me, but as I am like learning about a person, or they get to know me and we talk within a few meetings, a lot of the first impression has changed, like the next impression about me. And I think a lot of them have also apologized to me, saying like, I didn't know you'd be a really cool person, or it'd be fun talking with you. So I do realize that, yeah, your first impression about a person or how they look the first time you meet them might not be who they are as a person. So yes, on the outer look, it's very important to look, prepared or decent, but we may never know what a person is going through behind all that when we first meet them. So that's why for me, never judge a book by its cover. It's a very important saying. And I also realized like that kind of saying really do imply as well in books itself. I've seen book covers that may not be the most appeasing. It's not something that I would find like interesting by the cover itself. But when you look at the back and you look at the synopsis of it or like some, preview of it, the storyline are very interesting. And when I do read the book, it's something that I don't regret reading. So absolutely agree on that one. Never judge a book by its cover. Thank you. Back to you,
Thank
Toastmaster.
you. Thank you, Toastmaster Hannah. Today, I think it has, because it's based on the theme of new beginning, is it also good for us to reinvent ourselves? So finally, I'm using the word, Madame Grammarian. Let us reinvent ourselves towards a positive beginning. Because I know that the Toastmaster Gilda chose this because of our new beginning for the term from July 1, 2023 to June 30, 2024. So reinventing ourselves is a good thing as long as we reinvent ourselves for a better way, not for the worst way. So let's move on to our next question. Okay, this one is, obviously it's a photo, but who wants to guess the question? Adeline, just guess what the question is, and I'll ask someone else.
Maybe the question could be of what could be your favorite activity or what is your hobby? It kind of looks like that.
Somehow, what's one hobby you have that allows you to relax? So what's one hobby that you have that allows you to relax? Let me have the privilege of asking our timer. And if our Toastmaster Hannah, who is also a timer, Toastmaster Hannah, can you time our Toastmaster DTM Eliza Rocher so she can answer this question? So
Sure, no
over to
problem.
you. Thank you, Toastmaster Hannah. So over to you, DTM Eliza. Please answer it from the Malaysian, Singaporean, Indonesian point of view.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Vicky. The things that I love to do in my hobby that make me relax is watching Korean drama. And last time during the pandemic, I lost the control to get all my Netflix because I was stranded in Singapore. And I changed my hobby into a Toastmaster. I can visit a club, about 5 clubs in a day. And sometimes I didn't sleep for a whole night and I become an owl. And I feel energized actually. Because when I visit the Toastmasters, I reinvent myself. I met all the great people that actually give me, re-energize my life. So with their stories, and I forget about what actually the bad things happen to me. Because I learn from everyone. Oh, my life is not bad. Other people is actually more struggle than me. And actually in Toastmaster, it's not about being a public speaking or become a public speaker, but we learn from many others things, and also like we learn from others' experience, and it's actually something that I really love in Toastmaster. But now, since people is coming back to physical, actually I don't like physical meeting because why I cannot meet all my friends that I met all around the world. So I'm very happy if people invite me for online, even sometimes in the midnight. So now, if you ask me, my relax time is watching Korean drama. Because why? In Korean drama, I also learned something in it. Because in Korean drama, they also telling us about the story, how we can learn. And sometimes I also take it the story to be in my Toastmaster journey. So if you don't believe, if you want to watch, there is a drama called Agency, and it's about leadership. And when I look at the movie, I was like, oh my God, this is the leadership that I happen in Toastmaster. Wow, I can use that word. And this is all the great things that I love to do. So relax time, watching Korean drama and Toastmaster meet with everyone. Thank you. Back to you.
Awesome, awesome. Do you want a small secret? I used to also watch K-drama when I was a bit depressed with my life. And I didn't need to pay for a therapist, you know? So K-drama, if you need some therapy for distress, for depression, watch it and you will be somehow in another world. Thank you for that, those DTM Eliza. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. My aha moment. That's not the question, okay? Share one thing that you learned. That's just a visual. Toastmaster Amina, would you like to guess what the question is?
So at first, when I saw this, I thought that was the question, to share one thing that we learned. But I think it might be something like, what's an idea, a unique idea that you had?
Let's see.
What's your biggest?
What's one thing you wish you learned sooner? Toastmaster Amina, the virtual stage is yours. What's one thing you wished you learned sooner? Over to you.
What's one thing I wish I learned sooner would be not to trust people blindly. I feel I learned only through experiences. Not everyone has your best interests at heart, and fair enough. Everyone is here in the world looking out for themselves. Everybody has their own struggles, their own challenges in life, due to which they need to do what they need to do. But that does not mean we do not safeguard ourselves and protect ourselves from being taken advantage of or being misused. Sadly, I learned that through the hard way. I've always believed my friends blindly, I should say, only to realize when I'm not around, it really isn't the case. A very, very bad experience, which left a sour taste for me. But thankfully, did not make me lose hope or lose faith in friendship. I still do trust my friends and love my friends blindly, but I'm also wary and very much aware that everyone has to look out for themselves. So I may not be the first priority. It would be themselves. So yeah, that's one thing I definitely wish I had learned sooner in life. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amina. You know, you can trust me. Don't worry about me. I'm somebody you can count on as Toastmaster Gilda, who I know since 2003. Anyway, good luck on your friendship. Just always be careful about who you take as friends, because not everybody, as you said, is your friend. Let's move on to the next question. I am assuming, because I'm enjoying the table topics, that we still have time.
Yes, we
So
do.
I'm not we still have time, because I know that we have 20 minutes, right? Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at the scenery. Look at the scenery. Can everybody enjoy? This is a typical scenery where I'd like to go hiking. Now, I would like to ask Toastmaster Queen, what do you think will be the question for this visual?
I think it would be like, what is your favorite place that you used to like have relaxation, or what made you feel amazing?
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask the question, What was the favorite place that you went with your boyfriend? No, it's not. That's not right, Queen. So, okay. Very, very good question, because actually the question is, if you could live anywhere besides where you live now, where would it be, Toastmaster Queen? If you could live anywhere besides where you live now, well, I assume you're in Qatar, right? And other than the Philippines, where would you live? Where would it be?
If I could live anywhere aside from here in Qatar currently, I would go back to Philippines, as I love the beach, the nature looking area that we have back in Philippines. I live there in a far residence. We are near the beach, and it's a really good place to live, especially when you are already stable. So if I already reach the time that I will be able to build and be stabilized with my life, I would love to have my house there, have to build my family, have my friends to visit me there, as this nature really calms me down for everything or every time that I needed most. So the secret of being there, or the secret idea of having the pleasure of being there right now, would be a good and amazing experience and memories that I will live of in the future.
Wow, that's a nice question. So what if you married a foreigner? What will you do? You will drag the foreigner to the Philippines.
Let's go to
Okay, so anyone aspiring to have a relationship with Queen, be ready to settle in the Philippines, because that's where she wants to live. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the next question. Thank you, Queen, for that wonderful answer. And let's move on to the next question. New beginnings. New beginnings. Okay, this is related to Toastmasters, because I don't want you to think about something that could be able to guess outside of what I'm actually planning to ask. Toastmaster Shahila Khan, what do you think is the question in this visual new beginnings? Are you there? Okay, Toastmaster Shahila Khan went to have her breakfast or dinner. Toastmaster Tariro, what do you think is the question for the new beginning?
I would assume.
Yeah.
With regards to Toastmasters, yes? You said with regards to Toastmasters.
Yes.
I suppose it would be new beginnings in terms of the new Toastmasters calendar year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me give you the question. How would you advise someone to attend their first, it's a new beginning, their first Toastmasters meeting? How would you advise someone to attend their first Toastmasters meeting? Toastmaster Tariro, over to you.
I distinctly remember my first Toastmasters meeting over 10 years ago. I walked into the room, and to my left, there were a few chairs that had been set beautifully. I looked at the front, and someone was already speaking. We obviously got to the part where most Toastmasters are afraid of, and that is the table topic session. When the table topics master called my name, I panicked. I thought, should I walk out and run away or stay put and hope no one sees me? 10 years later, I definitely stayed. The one thing I would make sure every guest, every new person takes to a new Toastmasters meeting is to be yourself. Walk in there with an open mind. Walk in there and understand that everyone in that room walked in because they too were afraid of speaking in public. So take the challenge by the horns, so to speak. Reinvent yourself in a journey of becoming a better speaker. Because every person in that Toastmasters meeting always started where you are. Challenge yourself. If not for yourself, then do it for the next generation. Over to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Carrero. I love your response. Don't we all have quality speakers? Don't you agree that all the table topics were all like answered by champions of the table topic contest in the district level? So for the last question, I don't know if Toastmaster Shahila is here, or she has gone out for dinner, or she's in the restroom. Toastmaster Shahila, are you here?
Probably not there.
Obviously, right? She's not because I wanted to ask her for the summary of the lessons learned from these table topics, but unfortunately, she's not there. So I think with the timer, Gilda, you're raising your hand because you know where Shahila is. Have you seen her?
I don't, but if we have time, I would like to answer one of the table topics.
One lesson. No. My question is, I wanted her to make a summary of the lessons learned. So you can give me a sentence. Lessons learned, Gilda. Give me a sentence.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Okay. Anyone else who wants
be committed?
Be committed. You are 100% right, DTM Grace. If there's no commitment, there's no club, right? Okay, next, another sentence. Toastmaster Amina. Reinvent yourself, Toastmaster Amina, by answering this question.
So for me, it would be what Adeline said about, thinking of Toastmasters as a big loss of time. I totally agree with that. It's the story of my life too at the moment.
It's instead of a loss, it became a win. Toastmaster Adeline, I always like yours. We miss your smile, Toastmaster Adeline, because this is one of the few meetings that I've seen her face. Usually she has that Christmas balls profile photo that she puts up, but this time I see her lovely face and smile. So lessons learned, Toastmaster Adeline.
I feel like the lessons learned is the positive thinking. Like we should never let go of that positive thinking, even in the darkest hours. So that actually is something we really need now. Whenever we face so many things in life, there is always that positive light. We have to see that. So that's a strong message that I feel it's something I've struck with.
Awesome. Toastmaster Lucy Maxwell. Somebody had just mentioned about positive thinking, and you were the one who replied to that. What is the lesson learned in this table topic session?
I absolutely enjoy the positive outcome of this table topic. It was a combination of emotions that I could sense through this exercise, and I felt like I could relate with most of them. If not all of them, I could relate with most of them. So I'm grateful with the opportunity to help me to place my mind where we are right now with this exercise, because I think it's a very, very positive. So I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Muchas gracias, mi amiga Lucy Maxwell.
De nada, amiga mía. Te extrañé. I miss you.
I miss you too. So I'm in California. We might see each other in San Diego if I do visit San Diego. I'm going to visit you.
Please, I'm jealous, okay? I'm jealous
Okay.
that you went to visit Grace and now you have to come meet me too.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Tonight or this morning was one of my best table topic session because I believe that we had the best speakers, we had the best table topic responses, and thank you for that. And let's keep on making this, let's keep reinventing ourselves and keep the fire of enthusiasm burning because that is what Toastmasters is all about. We never quit. We only continue and move on. And not because you want to quit, because you know everything already. You don't want to quit because you want to help others know more about Toastmasters, learn more, and transform their lives and reinvent their lives. So over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Gilda Schla.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vicky, for this inspiring, motivating, challenging session of table topics. Thank you very much. And now, let me tell
Excuse me,
you a
Toastmaster
story.
Gilda.
Sorry?
Yeah, sorry, I was a bit, my niece is here almost after 1 year, so I hope I did my Sergeant at Arms role well. This is my first time for Athena International. So my sincere apologies because I was online, but I was running with this little one all around, that's the thing. I couldn't participate for table topics and all.
Okay, well, don't apologize for anything because our GE will give you the best feedback for your role today. Let me tell you a story about Gilda. Since I joined Toastmaster Online, I just recently finished Presentation Mastery Pathway. And as you all know, you probably all have done more than one path or maybe one path. Every path has 5, Presentation Mastery has 5 levels of speeches, and every level has different projects. When I finished, I thought I was so excited to get to my next pathway. And I thought it's going to be something new, totally different levels, different projects. To my surprise, I found dynamic leadership has exactly the same levels, same project. And I said, what's the point? I just did that. But then I realized with every level, we have to reinvent ourselves and practice what the level is requiring us or requesting us to do. Presentation Mastery was to learn your gesture, play with your vocal variety, speed, pauses, and all these things. Learn how to speak. Leadership, dynamic leadership, is totally different. You include how you could lead with every role you take, with every project you do. So it's like reinventing. And I'm really looking forward to reinventing more of me with taking more pathways. And I encourage everyone to hurry up, do speeches, because it's so much fun to learn new things about yourself, like I am learning now. Oprah Winfield said, challenges are gifts that force us to search for a new center of gravity. Don't fight them. Just find a new way to stand. And now we go back, or we are about to approach our last session, which is general evaluation. Our general evaluator believes that the new beginning is not a place nor time, but a decision to move from where you were standing. And this decision, it could be the toughest and game-changing. We take knowingly or unknowingly. She said, I feel like I have taken lots of new beginnings in my Toastmaster journey and my life. Through the journey may be rough, but I'm still standing. Our general evaluator, none other than a table topic champion, a charter member of Athena Toastmaster Club, and I think she's almost graduating from her computer science and getting her degree. Toastmaster Adeline Rajan, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gilda. I have successfully graduated from my university and in Bachelor of Information Systems. So yeah, that's the status now. And we are coming to the part where we learn or we try to reinvent ourselves by looking at the feedbacks or hearing from them. So let me describe of how this general evaluation session will go. So firstly, we will have the speeches evaluation, which Toastmaster Gilda will be doing her evaluation. And then I would give my overall feedback, and then we would have the reports from our tag team. But here in this special case, we will first have Toastmaster Gilda do her evaluation, but I will be evaluating her evaluation. I know it's a tongue twister, but all I'm saying is that I will evaluate her feedback of DTM Grace's podcast speech. Since this is part of her objective, I will read out the objectives first, and then I will let Toastmaster Gilda do her evaluation. So without further ado, I can read the purpose statements. So the purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of this speech is for the member to deliver constructive feedback on another member's presentation. So your speech length is 2 to 3 minutes. This is for the timer. The speech length is 2 to 3 minutes. And all the best to Toastmaster Gilda. The virtual screen is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Adeline. Hello, Toastmasters, and hello, Toastmaster Grace. What a wonderful podcast I heard today. It took me through my life, and I said that earlier, when I lived in Indonesia, going to all these small towns, totally different town, different culture, different languages, different nature, and it's all beautiful. You took me, and I'm sure you took many of us through this journey using our imagination. You took us through the mountains. You reminded me how green some of the places are. The flowers they use, the ocean, the splashes of the water. And you made us, I felt the splashes of the water. And I commend you for explaining your role in the beginning. You told us what the podcast you introduce us to your podcast. And you started through the journey from one city to the other. It's like you started in Bali and you ended up in Bali as well. And that is beautiful. Few things I would like to recommend to you is when we are listening, or when I listen to a podcast, the voice modulation, the volume, the pitch of the voice, that's what grabs me, makes me more interested to listen more to the speaker, to the podcaster. A bit more pauses in between from city to the other. Take us from one city, Bali, and what you saw, then pause, give us time to be ready for your next trip, which is the new town. The names of the towns, I couldn't get any other name of the town. Maybe it's my audio is not very clear, or you said them in a very speedy way. Take your time you could have less but act more, make it more attractive to the audience, because in podcasts, people don't see your gesture, don't see your face, don't see what you're wearing, your background. We only have the voice. Other than that, it was beautiful journey. You made me imagine everything you said. You said it in a very nice way. You explained everything you saw in a beautiful way. Thank you. Just take your time and have more pauses and voice modulation, and that's it. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gilda, for that wonderful evaluation. Now let me give my points on your evaluation. So according to the objective, I have seen that you have well noted this speech of how DTM Grace did. And I know it's a podcast, which is, again, a different kind of project that we are not sometimes facing, or we cannot hear sometimes. We're like, what do we do in a podcast? So it's actually really great, in fact, that you were able to evaluate a different project, a podcast. And I was able to notice how you well noted the points, how you listened, and how you were able to catch the minute details that some of us might have missed. And I also liked how you explained the points of improvement when you were talking about the voice modulation, or how maybe the fast pace was. It really gives the sense that, okay, you have really listened to, and you are able to give the recommendation or that feedback so that she can improve in her future podcast series. So I feel like you have actually excelled in your evaluation project. Good luck, Toastmaster Gilda. That was really good evaluation. And now let us come to the part where I generally evaluate the meeting. So our meeting started 6 minutes late, and it was understandable since we didn't have the role players on time. So we were confused. We were trying to fill in, and it is good to prevent that by trying to come early. So I would suggest all the role players, whoever has been listed in the agenda, to come at least 5 to 10 minutes early to prevent this confusion, because we don't know sometimes if we don't have a timer for a meeting, everyone's filled. We want to prevent that. So make sure to come 5 to 10 minutes early. The meeting room is always open, and test out your gimmicks. Maybe you might have a fancy timer this time, anything of that sort. But other than that, the surgeon at arms did her well done job. So I give my thumbs up for that. She is doing really well. And then came our presiding officer. So Toastmaster Queen was able to stand in instead of DTM Amy. So that was really good step in. And then we had the theme, and the theme was beautifully explained. So when we have new beginnings, we always hear most of the time the same words. But this time I really felt like it was a new beginning, like as if we are starting something new. I really like the flow you have taken through, the way you were able to tell the agenda was changed. So that's a really good thing as well. Sometimes we fail to mention as the TMOD because we are in stress of, oh, I have to say the theme. But I really liked when Toastmaster Gilda said, let's have a change, or we have the change in the agenda. So that gets the notice that, okay, so there is a change. That was actually well done. And I also like the meeting structure being clarified, even if we don't have new guests so far, but it's really good to keep ourselves being occupied to say, this is the structure of the meeting and this is how we're going through. I really like that. And the grammarian for reinventing the word, or she didn't reinvent the wheel, but then she reinvented something that I really liked, and that's the virtual background. I really like how she used that virtual background and said, here is the word. It's literally on her, not on her forehead, above her forehead. And so we can see every time and not forget the word of the day. I really like that. And let's hope all our future grammarians are able to do it, so then we can keep using the word. And the surprise session, the TT session, was amazing. I really liked how DTM Wiki start upon the topic. So instead of saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to choose you and you're going to tell the topic, she asked, what do you think the topic could be? And so that got all of us prepared and thinking, okay, maybe the topic could be this, that, and that curious way of thinking of bringing into the topic is really well done. I really enjoyed it, actually. I was wondering what could the topic be? And it was really, what do you say, blood rushing, because we don't know who the next person is going to speak upon. I really like the table topic session. It was really a new beginning and also a positive way of bringing out the thoughts. And then we had the podcast. I really liked the podcast as well. I think I'm changing the order, but sorry. We had the podcast before the table topics, but I really like the podcast because DTM Grace just took me back to Bali, even though I've not been to Bali at all. So I was just imagining how it would have been and how DTM Grace was taking me through those lush green areas. I felt I was in Bali for sure. It was really great, her podcast. Though I would have a one suggestion which I received for my podcast, and it's a suggestion I'd like to do. It's that when you're sharing your audio for podcasts, I got a suggestion that you have to share a virtual, not a virtual background necessarily, a video of sorts, so that like there's something going around behind, not your, instead of seeing people seeing your face, there's a video going around. You might see in some video podcasts that like it's just a dumb video, maybe just some lights flickering around or something, but there's only the voice is heard. So this is to make sure the attention is on the screen and not on your face if it's being awkward. So that's the only suggestion I have, and that's only for the podcast. And that's something I learned from I'm not sure, I'm forgetting her name, but she's actually a really good podcaster. She's a professional, and that's a really good thing. So really good podcast, actually. And then comes the general evaluation. Toastmaster Gilda actually did a really good evaluation. And I would like to come to the improvements of this meeting. I have mentioned already one, that is the role players must come 5 to 10 minutes before the meeting starts. The second thing is, if you're going to leave the screen, and this is for anybody, because when you're leaving the screen, we don't know what reason. It could be an emergency, a real emergency. So it's just put in a chat like, be away for 5 minutes, that's it. And then everybody will know, okay, you're away from screen, and we can avoid the like how cows in the field are saying moo moo moo, and we're like, are you there, are you there, are you there? So it's to prevent that kind of a confusion to be there. That's all. It's only just a message. If it's really personal, also just, I'm away for 5 minutes, that's all. No one's going to question you where you are. That, and also I noticed in between when we were doing the evaluation, I noticed both of our timers were flashing green, were flashing yellow, and I was confused. I was like, okay, which one is the timer? So one good thing would be, if you can make sure, if the other timer, let's say Toastmaster Eliza, since she was here, you can contact Toastmaster Eliza and say, can I be the timer? You can get a clarification and then notify us probably in the chat, or raise your hand and say, I'm the timer from now on, please make sure to look at the screen. So because I was getting confused, like, does Toastmaster Gilda not get confused? There are 2 timers here. So that was just a general concern, but it's nothing great. It's just something I noticed. But overall, the meeting was really great. I really enjoyed it, and it is a new beginning that I was looking forward to. And with that being said, we need to get our reports, actually. So first, let's start with our timer. I'm not sure which timer. So both of you can, maybe first I'll go to Toastmaster Eliza, then I can go to Toastmaster Hannah for the other half. So Toastmaster Eliza, your report, please.
Thank you very much, but I already transferred my time to Toastmaster Hannah, so just let her do it.
Okay. No worries. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Eliza. So Toastmaster Hannah, would you like to give us the timer report?
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Adeline. First and foremost, I apologize, everyone. I came 30 minutes late, thinking that I misread the timing from like the flyer itself. I thought it said 7:30, so I came around 7:33. But then when I was looking into the chat, we were already starting, and I'm truly sorry for that. Surely we'll do as you suggested, 5 to 10 minutes before the meeting, just to make sure that nothing goes wrong and everything will go smoothly. Yeah, so I think I will go with Miss Toastmasters Eliza's timings that she has been tracking. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Eliza, for tracking the time on behalf of me. Truly sorry once again. So from Toastmasters Eliza's evaluation, there seems here, starting from Grace's speech, it was 6 minutes to 48 seconds. 6 minutes 48 seconds, so I think that's on time, yes. And for the table topics, most of us were on time. Only 1, 2 are disqualified, as it is under the minimum time for Miss Lucy, and for Eliza, and I think that's all. But most of us did well. Like Miss Lucy had 1 minute 38 seconds. Adeline, you were 1 minute 32 seconds. I was on 1 minute 57 seconds. Queen at 1 minute 27 seconds, and Tariro at 1 minute 33 seconds. And that's all. And for Miss Gilda's evaluation speech, it was a little over time, but overall I really liked it. It was at 3 minutes 14 seconds. That's all the time tracked for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hannah, for your report. Now let's proceed to our most fearful sometimes, and sometimes the important one, our counter. So, Toastmaster Tariro, could you please give us your report?
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. For our report, I will try to cushion it and make it less uncomfortable. With regards to our counter report, I will combine the TMOD and the the speaker before the evaluation. For her part, she had more than 5 filler words, and the focus word for her is the word "and." For our timer, the first timer had less than 5 filler words. The second timer had more than 5 filler words, and the large focus for that one is the word "and." For our grammarian had less than 5 filler words. Our first speaker had less than 5 filler words, and our table topics master had more than 5 filler words, with "so" as the focus word. For the first speaker, more with "and" as the focus word. Table topic speaker 2 had less than 5 filler words. Table topic speaker 3 had more than 5 with focus on the word "and." So our table topic speaker 4 had more than 5 filler words with focus on the word "so." Our table topic speaker 5 had more than 5 filler words with the focus being Our table topic speaker 6 had more than 5 filler words with the focus being I. Our general evaluator had or has more than 5 filler words with focus being "so" as well as the word "and." Our evaluator 1 has more than 5 filler words with focus being the word "and." So as you're speaking, focus on the words that are highlighted, so that you are mindful of those words as you proceed in your journey as a Toastmaster. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tariro. That was a very detailed R counter report. Okay, I cannot say "and" now. I'm trying to be, but the filler words are coming to me. I'll try. It is really important for us to improve, and that is really good, Toastmaster Tariro. We will focus on our filler words and also the other words that we keep repeating. So our last but not the least, very important, Toastmaster Amina, could you give us a grammarian report?
I'm happy to. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So I found a lot of good usage of vocabulary and phrases. Something our first timer used was "don't forget to pin me, but don't hurt me." I really like that. I'm going to steal it. Other good words which I heard during DTM Grace's podcast was "surreal," "cool respite," "beckons," "riding the swirls," "immersing," "nestled," "picturesque." I think I'm taking you through her podcast again. It was a very vivid podcast which really took us to Bali. I think this was During the table topics, some nice phrases such as swim above the fear, appeasing, synopsis, I think in general, there were no grammatical mistakes, but one thing that I've noted is we tend to mix our plurals and singulars. So instead of saying storyline are very interesting, it should ideally be said as storyline is very interesting. Someone said people is coming back. It should be people are coming back. We should just be mindful of the noun form, whether it is singular or plural. And besides that, some really nice quotes such as "We never quit, we only continue." And I also love the one by, I think, Oprah Winfrey. Challenges are gifts that force us to search for a new center of gravity. I couldn't catch the rest of it, but very nice quote, and I'm sure I'm going to Google it. So thank you very much for everyone for participating and using my word of the day. Last time I had 0 usage. Today, everyone has really implemented the word of the day in their speeches. Toastmaster of the day more than 6 times, table topics master more than 6 times, general evaluator 4 to 5 times, as well as our table topic speakers, Eliza and Toastmaster Teriro, have also used the word of the day. So thank you so much. Over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Grammarian, for that wonderful report. It is really interesting to see how we are having grammatical errors, but at the same time, we are grammatically wholly correct. So that's really interesting to get the reports from our tag team. And this is the end of our general evaluation session. I hope everybody can reinvent themselves by listening to their feedback. And I hope to be in touch, I guess. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Gilda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Adeline, for your general evaluation for the whole meeting, one session at a time. Unfortunately, we wanted to hear from Toastmaster Eliza what she thought of the meeting, but as she says in her message on the chat, her curfew is 1:30 and it is 1:30, so she had to leave. But I'm sure she will give us her feedback later and we will display it. Oprah Winfrey said, "Challenges are gifts that force us to reach for a new center of gravity. Don't fight them. Just find a new way to stand." And that's the code you want it. Now, Nelson Mandela said, "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." Dear Athenian, let's stand and deliver speeches and fall on our face and get feedback. That's the only way we will improve ourselves and start new beginning. That's the end of our first new beginning meeting for this term. I want to thank you all. And now I would like to give back the virtual stage to our presiding officers, Toastmaster Queen. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gilda, for the well-delivered meeting today. And I would like to thank all of us, all of the ladies here that attended this meeting. And hopefully we will again have a successful meeting for this term. And now I officially close the meeting as we go on with our new beginning. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I think we don't have a guest here anymore, so we can't ask for feedback. So I guess nothing else.
Probably
Wait,
we can ask from some of the members their feedback.
Can we stop the recording, please? Or no?
Yeah.